All right, joining us today on Pirate Radio Live, Ronnie Sowell. I guess Pirate fans will know him as Chase's dad, but he certainly made a name for himself in the sports world and the baseball world. And Ronnie, appreciate you joining us. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I appreciate you guys having me.
And I guess Pirate fans will know him too as one of ECU's biggest cheerleaders. You are very active on social media, talking about the Pirates, not just the football Pirates, but kind of following everything when it comes to ECU. So that's pretty cool that the Sowell family has ingrained themselves as Pirates here.
Yeah, it's a great thing, man. I've watched them when I was younger. I've seen ECU for a while, um, but I really didn't know what it was until we went on the recruiting trip. We came back from like BYU, and I mean, it was really nice at BYU. But we just couldn't get over the feeling of feeling like at home when we were there. And Chase was just, I mean, he was sold on ECU, and then I mean, I'm straightforward. If I didn't like it, I'm not posting anything. I don't like. I'm not trying to make people happy. I started posting because my mom lives in Florida. I live in Texas, so she doesn't get to see my kids as much. My family doesn't get to see my kids, so I post whatever I post. And if people like it, good. If they don't, then like I say, unfriend me or block me. And if you don't like the Pirates, then block it. I don't. I just have fun with what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
That's what it's all about. Talking to Ronnie Sowell today. Ronnie, want to talk about Chase a little bit, but again, kind of get to know you. So let's talk about your background, I guess, athletically, but also coming up. You were a D1 baseball player down in Florida. So how about growing up a baseball player, and how'd you end up landing with the Gators?
Well, I tell you this. It's a funny story. I grew up. If people know me from Gainesville, they knew I was a big time football player. I played in that area where we call it the Muck. So I played against, the Warren Sapps at Apopka.
Mm.
Um, Fred Taylor was like a little bit younger than me and those guys, but I played there. I played kind of right behind Dion and Emmett. I
Okay.
was behind that group. So you saw our high school was pretty intense back then. So I grew up like just loving football, and I played a lot, but I kind of got caught up in some rough times and got myself into some things I shouldn't have been doing, and so football was taken away because I couldn't get qualified. Back then it was like Prop 48 and those type of things. But I was one of those guys that I just kind of got out there and was doing things I shouldn't have done. And in my 11th grade year, I actually got robbed in my front yard. I'm at gunpoint, and then I said to myself, like, what am I going to do? Football's gone, and that type of thing. So I had a coach. He was like, Ronnie, why don't you just try to like get into baseball? I played, but it wasn't. I didn't love it like that, and so I ended up going to like a junior college. I had to like borrow some shorts and I had to get a glove and all that type. But my first 60 I ran, they were like, "Oh, like you need to run again." And I ran track too, so I thought I ran slow. So I ran again and I beat that time. And they were like, "Whoa, like, whoa, can you do that?" Like, but I was a catcher in high school, so that tell you what kind of I didn't know anything. I was like the fastest guy in school,
The
but
fastest
I
catcher
just
ever.
played
Yeah.
catcher. Yeah. So there was a scout for the Reds. He was there. He was just like, "Man, you need to learn to play the outfield." And so I moved to the outfield. Terrible, terrible. I ended up going to Santa Fe Junior College, Santa Fe Community College. Um, there's a guy named Harry Tholen that he got me into it. They helped me with my grades. I graduated with like a 1.9 GPA, and I was reading on the sixth grade level. I was out of it. I
Yeah.
just wouldn't take care of the things. It was just football for me,
Right.
100%. And I was getting involved in, like I said, a lot of things I wasn't supposed to. Like I said, the 11th grade year. I also had another friend. He quit. He had quit football, and it was like the weekend later. I was coach was telling him not to, and he ended up getting shot. He got shot in the neck, and he got killed like a week after that. So it's just like a lot of warning signs telling me, like, man, you got to get your life together. But I was like, I want to play football. I really don't want to do the baseball thing. I'm not. It's not my sport. But I ended up going to junior college. Got my grades right. They did a lot of. They helped me out a lot, man, on just learning how valuable education was and that type of thing. So, um, you know, it was just a culture shock for me. Once I got to college, it was such a culture shock for me, and so I got into baseball to help me out, man. And long story short, I had a good year or a good 2 years, and then Florida called me, and it was like, I was like, okay, good. Now I get to go play football. They were like, no, 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 we're recruiting you for baseball. But I was trying to be smart, and I was going to say, well, okay, well, I'm gonna go to the baseball team, and then I'm gonna go play football.
Right.
But I didn't realize if you have a scholarship, like it doesn't work that way. You have to go. So I got to Florida. I loved it, man. I met so many friends. The things that I learned, I'd never been on a plane before. So the first time I think we flew to Arkansas. Man, it was a storm. I'm freaking out in the back of the. I am freak. And so we have a layover. It's like a 9-hour layover. I'm like, man, I don't know if I can get back on this plane. And so we do that. We go and we play. So the next week we fly. I don't know if it was Mississippi, and we have another one. And I was like, Coach, man, I think I want to. We probably have to drive. Like I can't do this, man. This is crazy. And so, but all those things I've learned and experienced, man, I never knew that it was another world out there. And
Right.
then, so I got on the plane, and I started playing baseball. I had a good career. Then I got into coaching and teaching. So that was kind of my path to baseball. And that's why I say I'm so excited now, because Chase was a baseball guy, but he's living out my dream. You know what I mean? Because I wanted to play that. And when he gave up baseball, it really it hurt me, because we put in hours and hours and hours, but he ended up making this, and like I told him, it's your life, man. I have dreams and stuff, but it's your life. I need you to, whatever you decide to do, we got to go hard at it. And so that's why I'm saying, so when I'm posting these things, like, this is how I really feel. Like, I love listening to you guys. The Pirate fans are like, they're like the guys in the swamp, in Florida.
Yeah.
It's like they're gonna boo you if you don't play well. They're gonna boo you. Like, that's Florida. Like, if you go to Miami, you go to Florida, like in the SEC, like, coaches, you're gonna get the tough questions. Why are you playing this guy? Like, what? Like, they're not taking it easy on you, and that's why sometimes it's hard to listen to some people, because they're speaking on something that they've never, like, experienced.
Yeah.
Like, when I hear people go, "Oh, the SEC is overrated," this, and I'm like, but you don't know what the competition is like every single day. Like there's like we used to say at Florida, like, the only time we're teammates is on game day. Other than that, man,
During the
listen,
week, you're
it's
battling.
yeah, hey, it's 11.7 scholarships. It's 40 guys out there. Like, so if you're coming there and you're thinking, we're going to throw you these little softballs, like, that's not how it works. And a guy, I played with David Eckstein.
Yeah.
So he was a walk-on when I was there. So we actually met because all the scholarship guys used to hit. And he would wait with like a lunch, like a bag lunch. After we hit, then the walk-ons are allowed to hit. And so I finally said, hey, man, look, you need somebody to throw you batting practice. And so that's how we became friends. And he goes on. He's won like 2 World Series, one MVP in the World Series. But I was a walk-on. But that mentality is what it takes, and that's what I'm saying. Like, some people will talk about measurables and this and that, but when you haven't seen these guys or you haven't worked in that environment, it's really hard to explain to people how hard it is. It's like Chase, he'll go hard, and then my wife will step in. She's got, like I said, 1 national championship at Florida, 4 SEC titles, 4-time All-America, and he'll talk about tour days, and she's like, listen, we did 3 days.
Right.
Like, you got to turn up. It's just, but that competition every single day is, that's what I'm saying. It's hard to explain it to people if you haven't been there. It's like somebody being on your show. Just because you did really well at your high school and you have a little podcast, you can't tell Clip how to run the podcast, because but you get a lot of that, right? People
Yeah.
speaking out of turn, and you're like, it's If it was that easy, like we all be doing it.
Everybody be doing it.
Right.
Ronnie Sowell joining us real quick on Chase because his name. We're recording this just a little bit after the Wednesday press conferences, and Chase's name came up with both Mike Houston and John David Baker. But Chase had the fumble on Saturday, and we asked about him, and Mike Houston said Chase can't get the time back he missed during the preseason, which to me said that he's kind of pressing a little bit. He needs to just kind of do what he can do right now. You can't make up for that lost time. John David Baker said Chase Sowell is needs to be the best Chase Sowell he can be. He doesn't need to go above and beyond right now. So it sounds like they're trying to just get him in the right headspace that, hey man, you're a good player. Just go out there and play. Don't try to do too much right now. But as an athlete, Ronnie, I guess when you miss that time when you're trying to play catch up, maybe sometimes you do try to do too much out there.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it, but he like, and he understands. You can talk about it, you can meet and all that, but it's all about the actions. Like a lot of people worry about results, but it's not the results. It's the actions that get you to the results. So like losing the fumble is the action. You didn't protect the ball and go. Like there's no need of meeting about it. There's no need to talk. There's not a minute. You got to have the actions and then do it.
Yeah.
Like that's the problem nowadays, I think, with social media and young guys, and like everybody wants to talk about something. Like Ron Washington, who's my mentor,
I love Ron
at the
Washington.
Angels, right? It's like everybody see the drills, but he do those drills every single day. So when you catch a ground ball, you've caught it so many times. So Kate, it's like Chase, you got to get the reps. They're right. Like if you haven't been out there, that's what you got to do. It's like you don't need to meet about it. Like I don't, I don't need to say nothing to him. It's like
Right.
no, get out there and put the work in. Like everybody, like that's what I'm saying. It's like too many people nowadays want to like, no, you got to put the work in, man. It's like that's the most important thing is the action. It's the work. It's the work. It's the work. It's not like headspace. I don't care nothing about that. You'll be in the right headspace after you catch the ball and tuck it 1,000 times. Like you'll
True.
be in the right space. Like you catch the ball 1,000 times, you'll be in the right headspace. But talking to Oprah and all that stuff don't help. Like you know what I mean? It's like what's that gonna do? Like, it makes you feel good, right? But
Right.
man, you
Nah,
got to get after it, man.
it's a good point. Ronnie Sowell joining us. Ronnie, catch us up to kind of fast forward. So, what are you doing today in the world of baseball, in the world of sports? How has your playing career kind of lead you to what you're doing now?
This is my 26th year of teaching and coaching. I coach at a middle school. I've done the high school thing. I still train like guys in baseball. I have last year 2 of the kids that I coached went first round. Bryce Matthews went to the Astros, and Kendall George went to the Dodgers. I've had a chance to coach a kid named Alex Lori. He went second round. So I get a chance to train some of the highest level kids. And then I get to work with like the B team here at my middle school. And the reason I do it is because it's all about, again, like we were saying about the actions. It's like, how do you want to change the game? How do you want to get better? We just got to work on dominating the fundamentals. And I think I see myself as a funnel. Like I'm just a funnel from, Ron Washington. I've hit with Albert Pujols. I've been, Charlie Hayes, Michael Bourne. In football, David Boston, um, Wilbert Brown. He played with the Patriots. Derek Blaylock, who's my brother-in-law, he played 7 years in the NFL. Like,
Yeah.
you're passing all these things down to the kids because again, everybody's speaking on this is what they're doing in the pros, and then you find out that's not how it works. I like you have, the guys you have on your show because they can talk about what's going on in the locker room. They've talked to Coach Houston. They talk because it's one thing I can think as a dad, but I'm not in the locker room to hear what Coach Houston or JDB are saying to him, and I don't, so I'm careful about speaking to it. That's why you can always tell like the better players or people who've played because they're careful about what they say in the stands. You know what I mean? Because they know, like, well, I might. They might have told him this. He might have missed an assignment. Like, you see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's where I work at the lower levels because I'm trying to pass that on to a lot of guys. Like, there's a different perspective. You're trying to get guys to live out their dreams. You know what I mean? And like I tell the guys, it's easier to own a team than to play for a pro team. Like, you
Right.
know what I mean? You got a
Yeah.
better chance of doing that. So get out there, get a job, try to work on it, and make something happen. But that's what I love doing, man. I just, I've never thought I'd be doing baseball like this, and to have the success I've had is it's been great, and it's because of so many good people around me.
Yeah, and I mean your story is amazing from what you told us earlier. In fact, part of it with the running out there and joining the baseball team, it sounded like Willie Mays Hayes in the movie Major League. Like he's not
Hey,
even on the
I'm telling you,
roster and he's out there running. Did they steal
man,
that
it was
from your
bad.
life story?
It was bad, man. I remember, hey, one time they hit me a fly ball. I was going back on the warning track, and I tripped and fell on the warning track, and I fell, and the ball hit me like right in the chest. I was
Oh
laying
man.
on the ground. I was just like, oh my goodness.
Give me a
So I was like, I
football.
don't know if I
Somebody
can
give
make
me a
it,
football. I got to get out of here.
man. But the good thing about it is you have enough coaches that they believed in me. They told me to keep working. I could do this on and off the field. That's why it's so good to have good coaches, man. And that's why I do what I do, because once you expand somebody's mind, it never comes back to the same size. And so once they did that for me, it changed a lot of things, because before I couldn't understand what people were saying. Like I understood that I don't have a real good chance of living past 21 with the way things were going in my life and everything. But and I didn't. It didn't matter to me. I understood that's a possibility, and I was
Mm,
okay with it.
man.
And then once you get to school and you realize you can be more than just an athlete, everything changed now. And then I think I'm able to help a lot of kids too.
That's awesome. Ronnie Sowell joining us. My producer Shirley Rhodes is so upset she's not here because
Uh-oh.
she will. But I'm going to pass along her question, I guess. But so tell me, Ronnie, this is crazy. But without Abby Wambach, who's one of the best soccer players ever, who knows? Chase Sowell might not be here on this earth. How does that work, Ronnie?
Right, right. So I went out one night. I'm at the club, and I meet a nice lady. She's beautiful, and so we just talk and everything like that, and trying to catch up with her and see her later, and so it's getting late, and she's still there, and I was like, "What are you guys doing?" So somebody took the car. So that was Abby Wambach took the car, and so Keisha, my wife, needed a ride home, and so if it wasn't for Abby Wambach taking the car, I probably wouldn't have. Met my wife, and so Abby always tells Chase, like, if it weren't for me, you probably wouldn't be here. And man, I just, like I'm saying, it's crazy how God has worked through my life, and we watch Abby and watch her go through all the things she's going through, and meeting all these people, man, it's like I said, it's just been a blessing. And Abby, she supports us and supports Keisha and those type of things, and it's been great.
That's awesome, Ronnie. And there's another Sowell. I talked to Chase about it this summer, the
Yeah,
younger brother. So, and I understand he's a baseball, football guy too, right? But what? Tell us about the other Sowell out there.
yeah. His name is Hunter,
Okay.
Hunter Sowell, and he was at East Carolina at the camp this summer. He's a pretty good player, man. We had a big game against Austin Westlake. That's Drew Brees' high school. So we drove like 3 hours to go compete against those guys. It was a big upset. We won that game. He had a big pick in the game. But he's definitely a baseball. He's more of a football guy, but he can play baseball. Very physical. Um, I posted him. He's probably about 170 pounds, and he's repping like 435 pounds on the squat. he's just a different kid, man. He's built a little bit different than Chase, but very aggressive. Just a good ball player.
It sounds like Ronnie, you're doing the right thing. Hey, whatever you want, whatever your path is, go get it. But you're preparing them for everything. So, I mean, is there any thought of trying to do both, going at the next level, baseball and football, or do you think Hunter will focus on just football?
He said he doesn't know yet. He's still thinking about it. I hope he does. I just told him, like, man, you guys got to go ahead and try it. Like I same thing with Chase. I'm like, man, you're at a powerhouse school. Like, I've seen him. He was at the National Perfect Game Showcase. I think he had like four something or 500.
Man.
And CC Sabathia came over and was like, man, you're a great player. But Chase was committed to football. And when he came to the Pirates, that's why I'm behind it, because he absolutely just like, I'm gonna give him everything I got. And that's why I'm saying, like, you don't need to worry about talking, you got to put in the work. Like that's it. Like, you need the extra reps, but you can't go half of the time in football, half of the time in baseball. It's got to be 100 and 100. And he wanted to do this, so it's like, he just, once he gets his time back, he'll be fine. Just like Hunter, it's like, whatever you want to do, you put the work in. Like, don't make this harder than it is. Like, people want to do all this stuff. It's just like, no, you got to work hard. You got to do 10,000 reps and then do that 10 times. You see what I'm saying? It's not
Yeah.
like you got to do it over and over and over, like, to be good at it.
Ronnie, I love how real you are, your honesty, and telling us these stories about yourself. So let's get real and honest real quick. What's going on with your Gators, man?
Why, man? Come on, man. Why you going there, man? Clip, man. Why
Tough
we going
times,
there, man?
tough times,
Man.
tough times.
Hey, the good thing about it though is FSU ain't winning either.
Good God, yeah. Somebody's always got it
Yeah,
worse, right?
yeah, exactly. But it's been hard. My friends from Miami, all my
Oh,
friends from Florida State, they give me a hard time, man. But hey, listen, always a Gator, man. You know what I mean? Always a Gator. It's a rough time. You know what I mean? I'm a Pirate too, though.
yes,
I'm a
sir.
Pirate too, though. And so even like last year when we went through it, it's like you got to try to find the good things,
Yeah.
when you're going through something. And so like Ron Washington called me, I think earlier this week, and we were talking about something, and he was saying the difference between adversity and failure. Like, he always makes you go to the dictionary and look up the actual word. So he was telling me about adversity is like, that's the state of going through a tough time. Failure is that it's done, it's over. So when you're going through adversity, it's a state. That just means you're going through the tough time. There will be an ending. Like, so you understand adversity. You go through it. It's like, that's what we went through last year as the Pirates. You got to go through the adversity. It's like being a teenager, like, or going to middle school. You go through a point where everybody's been picked on about having a zit, something wrong with you in middle school. Like, that's
True.
just a
Yeah.
state. You're going to get out of it.
At the time,
Failure
sometimes it
is,
feels like you can't get out of it, but you will. You
that's
will
it.
be. Yeah.
And that's what he was defining with me, and just making sure that I pass on to kids and stuff like that. And the same thing I tell with Chase and the guys, like, you're going to make bad plays. Like, continue to play. It's adversity. Like, and then you want it early, so now later in the year when we win conference play, you catch that ball, you tuck it, and then you get the first down. You don't try to go make a great play. You know what I mean? All these plays that these guys doing, if you go through the adversity, you'll be ready later on in the season. But sitting there like group talk, like, none of that, man. That sounds good. That does. It really does. That not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I could post quotes and all that, but like, if you ain't getting out there working, like, it don't matter. Like, that, it don't matter. It don't matter what people say. It's just about what you're doing.
Ronnie, I just checked my clock. You got to go to class, and I got to let you go,
Oh yeah.
man. We could do this
Oh yeah.
for hours. I feel like I didn't. So let's maybe do it again sometime. I really enjoyed the chat. I want to talk more about the great athletes that you've been around and mentioned. But thank you so much
Right.
for joining us today, man. This was awesome. Let's do it again. Keep up the
Hey,
positivity on social media. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Hey, one question though, Clip.
Yes, sir.
How did you get the name Clip?
That's a great question. And I don't know if I actually know, but I'm the third. Clifton is my real name with a F.
Okay.
But
Right.
my dad and grandfather also went by Clip. So my grandfather has passed away, but when we were all alive and at Thanksgiving and stuff, my granddad was Clip, my dad was Little Clip, and I was Chip. So
Okay.
it was a little confusing when we all got together, but yeah, we all go by Clip with a P. So
Man, that's pretty cool. That's because hey, look, in my neighborhood, Clip means something else.
yes, sir, it does. I
If somebody
understand.
got, so I was like, whoa, okay. What?
Yeah. I feel
So
like I
that's pretty
got
cool, man.
I
That's
get
pretty
some
cool.
undeserved street cred from it, but yeah,
Yeah,
there you
yeah,
go.
yeah. I like it. I like it. I like it.
Ronnie, thank you
So
so much, man. Let's keep in touch and do it again. I know that our listeners will really enjoy this, so we appreciate
okay.
you, man, and thank you so much.
Yeah, and go Pirates. Let's go, baby.